It's starting. Yes. Good afternoon, good morning here in California, and good evening for you joining from Asia. It's a great pleasure and honor to have with me Daniel Donnelly. Daniel, I've been wanting to interview him for a while, and he said yes, so I'm happy for that. Daniel is an instructor. He's a designer. He's also authoring more than 9 books, and he's also a makerspace manager. He works at Butte College as a full-time design instructor along with 30 other associates. And he's also managing something called the CCC Maker Initiative, where the government has allocated $70 million grant as a part of this to 24 colleges to be maker spaces. He's running also a business. Something called In Your Face Design Studios with phenomenally famous customers like JCPenney, AT&T, etc. He authored a book called In Your Face: The Best of Interactive Interface Design, which was one of the first coffee table design books featuring interface designs, and also authored and designed 8 other books in things like interface design, web design, animation, etc. So without saying too much, you understand why I wanted him as a guest, because we were just talking before this that we are entering a new era that we together hopefully will be a part of intensively, which has to do with XR and VR. And with that, welcome, Daniel.
Hi. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you. Just hearing you say all the things I'm doing makes me tired. I've been lucky to. Well, I've been lucky to be able to start into this industry back when it was, right at the very beginning, and get into interface design. Back when Macromedia Director was first starting up, and you'd make a change in the software, and something would take 10 minutes to make an update on an Apple IIci computer that was souped up even. So it's been a great journey. Getting to this point, and meeting all the people I've been able to meet and do the work I've been able to do, and it just keeps getting more exciting as you know yourself. So.
Yeah, no, it's correct. So a lot of what you say, Macromedia, all those things resonate with me, and because I've been on the virtual reality side of this, while you have been on the much more popular. So you've been in the popular group. I've been this kid with pimples and the corner that has this goth things and nobody listened to because we do VR, and VR was very obscure and suspicious. Exactly. But it's changing now. Now, tell me a little bit about, we were also talking about the type of school you work with, and there's been a very tumultuous time for all of us. The last, I would say, year and a half, it still is, unfortunately. We went through a lot of hardships, and that changed not only the way we work and live, but also the way we learn. And tell me a little bit what happened when the pandemic hit and what you had to go through to overnight change everything.
Yeah, and I know we're not the only college that this has happened to. We're in the far north, where we're located in Butte College, and we're an economically disadvantaged college. A lot of our students are economically disadvantaged, and so they don't have the technology that a lot of other students might have in larger schools. So when we went on break in March for spring break and didn't come back, of course, because of the pandemic, we had to, like every other school, we had to go online. And it was hard enough for the faculty to make that transition, but then we realized that none of our students had the technology to be able to, or at least a large majority of our students didn't have the technology to be able to go online and start learning. They had their mobile phones, but they didn't have computers. So our school had to buy hundreds and hundreds of computers that they gave out to students. They had to buy hotspots. They had to use money to buy hotspots for students because we live in a rural area. I barely have internet where I am. I'm at in my college office today because I wanted to make sure I had the bandwidth to be able to do this interview. So a lot of our faculty and students live in areas where there's not really high bandwidth. And so they had to buy them hotspots. They actually ran out of hotspots. I know they bought hundreds of them, and there was still a need. In our art and design department alone, we have an incredible design department with 3 computer labs that are really high end technology, a maker space that has $500,000 worth of equipment. Well, these students don't have access to this once they go home. And so once they were forced to be home, we actually had to buy 50 laptops for them, Apple laptops, so that we could loan them out to them during the pandemic. And, luckily we're set to come back face to face and in person for the fall. Hopefully we'll be able to keep doing that, and it won't get worse, right? That we have to.
I hope so. I mean, logic prevails, and I don't want to go into that discussion today, perhaps. But if everybody we have the luxury to get vaccines. I have meetings with my 73 countries, a lot of them in Africa, that will kill for a vaccine.
Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly. Right.
So I think once we get the vaccine, hopefully we'll combat this one.
Right.
What's exciting when you mentioned this is that we got together during the pandemic. We got to know you during the pandemic, and in our side, because this is actually, as you also pointed out, most of our users, 96%, are using the phone. This thing, and this, what they have at home. And by using those things, they can actually communicate and learn. And also, full disclaimer for the audience, we have together signed an agreement that will engage, I think, 5,000 students for a period of 5 years and 750 interns and workers. And I foresee that these students will, beyond the wonderful computers that you purchased there, will also use their devices at home. Okay. And now, to set the tone for the discussion, because today we're going to talk about XR, right? We're going to talk about the future. But to set the tone for that discussion, what I wanted to do initially is I said I had a little surprise for you, right? So I'll start with a surprise. It will take about 5-6 minutes. And then, which is what's possible today. That's the theme, not tomorrow, not the vision, but just now, today. And then I would like your thoughts, and we'll elaborate more of where you see from your perspective that this technology can be used for learning, for training, and performing. And for that purpose, I will share my screen, and we'll have a little ghost effect going on here for, that's freakish, okay, for a second or two. And then I'll switch to my PowerPoint. You see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll do a few slides in record time. So hold fasten your seatbelt, because it's gonna go fast. So this, I was in Korea 2 weeks ago, and they invited me there to talk with dignitaries. It's my 4th year, about the future, what's happening, and the future of education in general. And normally, when I do this, I show exciting pictures, the spatial meetings of 2031, how this can be used for virtual teleporting, or how campuses will look different. How you can enable cities or affect work. So that's what they want to hear, the future. But this time I did it different. So I focused more on what's possible today, not 2031, but right now. And to illustrate that, I used 3 products, one that you know of and 2 new. And the one that you know of is for the benefit of the audience. You know all of it. It allows you to import data, to bring that data to life, to inject knowledge in those, let's say, annotations or environments that you create, and then to publish this to anything from a phone to essentially a dome, right? So that's what that does. What you probably don't know as much about is that our roots obviously are, my background is aerospace. I used to be a program manager for rockets, and I used to work in the defense sector in Sweden. So this is used by, for example, the US Air Force today for training and maintenance and repair operation. We got our 3rd contract. This is also used by a company called EDF. It's the world's largest energy company, to various things, among other things, to help to mitigate power failures amid the heat waves that we experience in California. And developing countries and industries are using this for hands-on tool training and things like that. But also companies that I can't really disclose the name of are using this to see how they can train to prevent lab leaks with something we call safety proximity sectors, which enables you, as you go close to, for example, something that's dangerous, it kind of provides you the warning as you move forward. So, This is the traditional products. People in Barcelona are using this for training robots to not to play only ping pong, but actually to construct cars. Or the hospital. I just interviewed this week, 1 hour sit down with Chalk Children's Hospital in Orange County, and they are using it to alleviate anxiety and stress for children that are coming for treatment. So, but again, this can continue for many things. Now, what's new? Here's my surprise. 2 things. You kind of saw the beginning of this, but one of them is the product called Merged XR. So what's new with this Merged XR? So I can scan. So let me just do that, just to show you. So let me just show my camera. You can still see me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm creating right now a scan. I'm clicking on this. So, okay, you can see that my phone is a bit red, right?
Right.
Okay. And then I stop. So there's my scan in 3D of this, you can see.
Right. Okay.
So now when I have my digital scan, in this case, it's not the libraries. I took a digital scan of my boiler. Then I find 3 matching points between the digital copy and the real one. And let me just stop that video so we look at one thing. So once I've done that, I am in this environment. I have my 3rd match point there. And voila, now they are overlapped. And now I can turn on the annotations that I created in the digital twin. And I can also have proximity sensors. So now if I go too close, it reacts. Even if I have it in my pocket, I forgot about it, it's going to start screaming if I'm doing something.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So now you saw that there were a bunch of annotations, right? And each of these annotations contain a knowledge portal. And a knowledge portal can be an image embedded, a memo, voice, translate, all these things. So it can be up to 12 per each annotation. That's how we do the knowledge injection. Now, the problem has been in the past, it takes too long time to create those annotations, right? So you have to speak water, pump, control, heating system. So from voice to text, and then you have to find a video that is about this or a text, and that can take time. So what we've done now is we use artificial intelligence to solve that problem. So once you hold the camera against that water pump control heating system, AI goes to work, if you use Google Lens, and finds a matching image of that. Okay, so say there's probably 4 images, and then you see it because it's exactly that. And in this case, I didn't know it was a water pump control heating system because I don't know what this is. I'm not a plumber, right? But I could recognize, I'm smart enough to see that this image and that image is exactly the same, right? So I said, yes, that's it. And then when I said that, then the system went to work, and automatically, this is the beauty of this, I'm pinching myself. Wow. Because what happens automatically went out on the internet and start identifying things. Let's look. So there we have the memo. Let's see the joint concert all together now. This might be even enough to entice users who may not even see after the max time. Oh, wow. That was a lot of voices said, wow. All we have to do now. So what happened there is that it went and started finding things. So it found images, memos, videos, and I walk with my phone like this to each knowledge portal, and I say, it's like shopping. No, I don't like that one. Oh, that's what I like. So I click, and I got that. Then that knowledge portal is activated. Then I go to the next one. Okay, that one, no, this one. So I populate my knowledge portal. It's pre-selected by AI. All I have to do is to pick and choose, okay? So this cuts down the knowledge injection with 95%. So it's pretty wonderful to use AI for that. Okay, so now what can we use this for together? We can use this for almost anything. Information technology, communication, transportation, manufacturing, agriculture, Northern California, social sciences, social justice that we've done project for. Whatever your fantasy is the limitation, right? So that's the Merged XR. Now, the next one, by the way, in industry, not only we work with training and improving productivity with AR, but we also work with what I think is important, safety, security, and health, right? Because that's paramount. Now, the last point is called spatial meetings. And that's my dream kid. You know, since I was a kid, I like this. How do you, I think that's spatial meetings, right? Things like teleporting, beam me up, Scotty. So the ability to go to a real place in real time. So to explore, discover, converse, walk around, interact with the whole surroundings. So your makerspace, your $500,000 makerspace, to duplicate that and invite students from home to actually be in the makerspace, okay?
Wow.
Or colleges that cannot afford a makerspace. It's only 24 of them that got it, right? You have 150. How would you get those in? And that's what I'm going to share right now with you. That's the most exciting part of my surprise. Okay, so here we go. So full disclaimer, this guy is in Orange County. His house is too small, so you have to step outside. And then it's not a makerspace. It's a $1.3 million operation room. By the way, that's your prime truck. Cannot avoid Amazon wherever you turn nowadays. So the guy, the doctor there is in San Francisco. The lady is Saudi Arabia. He can invite multiple participants in this room. And they have phones. The way it works is that they walk around physically with the phone. So as you walk, the avatar walks. As you turn, the avatar turns. When you click on the phone to point something, your hand, the avatar hand points. So this can be used for any of the things that we have. We have 1.1 million 3D assets. So you can either import your makerspace or scan it, or you can tap into any CNC machine, any MRI device, anything you can. Not only can you learn about it, but you can do scenario training. So let's say you are in a factory. Now the guy had to move on the street because the backyard was not big enough. He had to go for 100 yards to his factory. And what we're doing is a scenario. And the scenario can be, I don't know, there's a fire on section C11, or some robot, someone went too close for it, etc., etc. And so you can do those scenarios live. Now, if you want to do something real, like your makerspace, we most likely will scan it. So here's an example of that. So this guy scanned Mesa Verde. I don't know if you've been in Arizona. This is Indian ruins. My hobby is archaeology, so I'm passionate about that. And then once you scan it with your phone, then you invite your friends and you can instruct and you can talk about it. You can even add a guided tour. Now, if you want to, let's say you're occupied and you have a new project and you can't take care of the students right now.
Said that this site is one of the
what you can do is you can pre-record yourself, and your students come to Mesa Verde, say you have to join, and say, hello, my students, today we're going to talk about Mesa Verde, and that's pre-recorded avatar, so you're not there live. And then you give them the assignment, and then you dissipate in eternity. But this could be used for art, for architecture lesson, I mean, you name it. So with that, almost done. Last point. One question that I get at this point, yes, I understand what you see there, but if I'm in Singapore and I join you in a special meeting and I want to see your boiler, what would I experience? And what's that experience? Because obviously I can touch it. No, you can't touch it, you're right. But you can do everything else. You can go around, you can look at things, you can probe every knowledge portal, you can actually get triggered by the proximity sensor, you can do all the things that you would do except, of course, touching it. But you're not limited to just, let's say, an object. When I was in Korea, they invited me for lunch in Gangnam. Gangnam is a part of Seoul. So I went there, I like bulgogi, I had my bulgogi. Afterwards, I said, guys, could I just give me a minute because I want to scan this street. So this 10 yard. It took me about a minute because they didn't want to wait. So, but I could see, smell the flowers, look at what cigarettes they smoke. I came home in California. The first thing I did, I uploaded, you see the sunset there. This is Laguna Beach, and then I invited my guys from Sweden, and we were singing Gangnam Style inside. So you think this is crazy? I haven't showed you the crazy one yet. So this is crazy. Look at this. So now my vision was to teleport myself back in time. So here it is. I'm in California. I'm at home. This is my sofa, real sofa, 2021, and I click a button. Magic. Now I'm in Catalonia, 1921. I'm going back in time, basically. So it's superimposed into environment. So now, when you join this type of meeting, you have to choose your generic avatar. So you choose if, depending on gender, occupation, whatever you want to choose, you want to be. And this avatar will walk, will do different things depending what you do with your phone as you move around. But it's not stopping there. We also do personalized avatar. Now this is still not released, so you can see this lady. Now, how do you get students engaged? Allow them to personalize it, right? So this dude here, you can see that I unleashed him in there, right? He's there. And this is actually not just fun and useful for engagement, but it's also very helpful to serious things like saving lives, right? Today, how many people, if you got in a car accident, know CPR? And so you just record yourself in that CPR activity, and you can use it as a part of the learning process. So I'll stop there because otherwise I'll destroy the whole webinar here for the next hour. So my question to you, let me just stop it, and let's get back. Okay, still there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I pushed the wrong button for a second.
No, I'm here.
I was like, oops. Okay, so let's go to my question. So it's very simple. What do you think, first of all? And then how do you see this applied? How do you think this may be applied, and how this, in which areas do you see it most useful?
It's amazing. I mean, really, it's like I just want to play with it right now. I don't want to do anything else. This is all I want to do now. That's amazing. I mean, and the fact that you can actually make your own personal avatar, it just blows me away. Really, it's so dynamic. I just can't imagine what our students are going to be able to start doing with this once they have access to it. I watched a video maybe 2 years ago, probably about 2 years ago now, with virtual reality and kind of, I guess, augmented reality. It's probably XR, where they created a teleportation room. Right, a virtual teleportation room, and they had one, and I don't remember if it was in Germany, and the other one was at MIT, maybe San Francisco, someplace like that. And they built two small rooms that were exactly the same, so that they could have one person in one room, 10,000 miles away, and another person in the same room. And they had a young girl walking around in it, and it was so realistic to the people that were doing it that the guy that was in the virtual room walked around the little girl instead of walking through her. That's how real it was.
Yeah.
This takes it to a whole new level. I mean, that was really a cool concept, and I couldn't wait for that to happen. But this is it. This is what we need. Wow, it's really, really cool. It's really
thank you. It means a lot to me, because coming from a guy like you that has seen it all, right? And you sit there in your chamber. When you come up with these things, and you think like, this is it, this is amazing. And I go to my wife and I share it, and she says, I don't get it.
Exactly, yeah. I've been there, yeah.
Then you unveil it for the world, and you don't know. You sit there, chew your nails, and say, will they react like my wife, or do they react like me, right? And I'm happy to hear that. In fact, most people react like you. So
I can't imagine them not. Yeah,
it's vaccinated against VR, I guess, by now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so exciting, right? The possibilities now with this, because what you have to offer in the first place that I saw almost a year ago now, or close to that, was really, really exciting for our students, and I couldn't wait to be part of this grant and part of EON, and now. I don't think there's a discipline across campus that isn't going to be able to see how this can help them. I mean, I'll show this. Hopefully I'll be able to show some of this video to our faculty during our institute days that come up toward the end of August before school starts. because they're going to be blown away.
I'll send it today. By the way, if you want to see all these videos, they are on our YouTube channel. You just go to Your Reality and then you click videos, and then you can get all of them. Now, I'll be honest with you. Yes, I'm also very excited, but there's two points I want to make. One is that this technology actually to personalize your avatar, if you go back a year, as you well pointed out, it required a camera setting with multiple cameras to film you from different locations. And it was a pretty expensive exercise, right? I'll give you that the quality is superb, right? But this is maybe not as fantastically detailed, but the key here is that you can do it in minutes. No, it's seconds, actually. You can do it. I did my avatar in 36 seconds. So it's technology. And again, it's been forced by the pandemic, because all these companies that we are integrating this with a third-party company that we put inside. And they said, listen, the pandemic killed us because the studios, nobody could come to the studio. So we really have to reinvent, question the whole thing. And then we realized that, wait a second, you can use your phone. So that's what happens, and it happens all over the area, right? It happens in many sectors. So that's one thing. Remark: pandemic fast tracks.
Right.
Second remark I would like to do is the ease of use, right, and the accessibility.
Exactly.
Because we are surfing on this huge tsunami wave, which is called the mobile devices, right? Yeah. There's 4 billion of those, so we just take advantage of that. And that makes it easy. So those two things, ease of use and ease of creation, combined with accessibility and available. And that's why we can do, I had a guys from Africa, from Harare and Rwanda, and they have a tough time. They have no vaccines, high level of unemployment. I mean, even famine, for example, which we haven't seen for many, many years in Ethiopia now. But they have a phone and they have hope. So they adopt this, right? So they said to me, Dan, we could not afford not to have this, because otherwise the alternative is far more expensive. We cannot buy any of this medical equipment. We can't afford to get the best doctors to teach CPR or this, because we don't have that. So I think I see the innovation happening more so in places like Northern California, not Stanford, because Stanford, with all due respect, is so entrenched. There's so many kingdoms there, and they only want to think research, while you think about how can I improve the lives for these kids, right?
Right.
How can I give them something that gives them hope and a job.
Exactly.
I'm talking too much, but you got me excited. So
it really is exciting. I have a quick story that happened just before we had to go into the pandemic. There's this young woman who's a ceramic student, and she's been taking ceramics classes for probably 3 or 4 years, and was kind of lost in what she wanted to do. And she took a couple of my design classes and realized that if she learned design, she could make money with it. Right? Where if you want to be a ceramic artist, that's great. Right? There's nothing wrong with that, but good luck on making a lot of money with it. And that's one of the things I teach my students, is how to actually get a job and how to make money, because we know that they have to survive in some way. And so she came in and she wanted to know what the industries that she could go into, and what, the different pathways. So we spent about an hour going through, and of course, I brought in my Microsoft HoloLens to show her, and some of our virtuality headsets, and because I want to make sure students know what the future is. Yeah. And so we talked for about an hour, and she was really excited, right? She sees now that there's a potential for her to actually maybe own a car, right? Because she doesn't have a car. She doesn't have a driver's license, right? Wow. And she's probably 26, right around there, right? And that's where a lot of our students are right now. And, she never thought that maybe she'd ever own a house, because, the funds that it would take. And she actually said, well, I could maybe actually have a career and make money enough to own a house at some point, and a car, and go on vacations, that sort of thing. And then, so toward the end of the hour, she was excited about, and then she stopped and she said, but is it really worth it? And I stopped. I thought, well, what do you mean? Is it worth it? We just, I sure, it's worth it. You can make money. You can do this. She goes, no. She goes, is it worth even doing this? Because the world's just falling apart. And is there really any hope? And it killed me to hear this, right? This is someone who, I didn't expect that. I really didn't. And so what I had to say is that, the world's not ending tomorrow. All right. Sure, we're in a bad state. Of course, then we went into the pandemic right after this, so that was bad. But and we're still in touch. And she actually works for me and I pay her to do some work for me. But she didn't see the hope in where the world was going to, because of our politics and the fires. I mean, I'm out at the college right now, and the air is yellow because of the 100,000 acre fire that's going on right now, just, not even 30 miles away from us. And so one of the things I said is, sure, you have to understand, because I was in your place when I was in my 20s, where I thought I probably wouldn't live past 30. Right. And I realized that, I have to let my students know that you are going to live past 30. And so you have to imagine that. And I said, learn this, make money, but also think about the social impact that you can have. You can work for nonprofits. You can work for the environment. You can work to make things better with the knowledge and the technology that you're learning. And I think, and that really helped her to be able to see that she didn't have to just make money, because so many of our students are not interested in making money. But the fact that she could use this technology and her skills to better the world really made it more worthwhile for her. And when I look at what you're showing here, this new technology that we're going to be able to offer our students, the fact that they can create something so quickly and be able to help people, not just in their small sphere, but they can help someone and work with someone in Zimbabwe if they want to, right? They can work. It's amazing. It really, I mean, I look at this and I think there are so many pathways now that this is going to open up for our students that it's just going to be unbelievable. Really.
What you said is very, very important. Somehow, when we were 4 years old and my mom left me in the playground, and, the first thing I did is I put my fingers in the earth and I put in my mouth, and didn't taste that good. But I was curious about everything, and we all are. I mean, when we're born, until reality hits and we get slapped by left or right by different things in life and obstacles and issues, we all are 4 years old. We are curious, right? The instinct of us is being curious about the world, about what's happening. And what I hope, and the role, what I really love in your story is that's the role. Actually, what you did there is why we need to have academic institutions, right? It's not only about providing facts. That's actually becoming less and less important, but inspiring you for things that, the next trip to Mars, or, inspire you to work with life prolongation techniques with DNA, or how to visualize climate change and how we can improve that. So that's what I think, that if we can get back to the 4 years old,
right.
Exactly. The way to do that, our technology like this. You said also another thing, because today it's a bit like the Matrix. I interviewed the guy from the Matrix, the guy that got an Academy Award, John Guetta. And there's this famous scene in Matrix. Remember, then he can choose the blue pill or the red pill, right? And he said, if you choose this pill, there's no turning back, right? That's it. And I think for many of us, the reality is like that we can use technology for, TikTok, social media, negative things that propagates hate, division, and what happened December 6th, or we can use it for something positive. And normally I don't quote trillionaires, but I'll do now. So trillionaire, we have one here, and he's a little bit higher up in Washington State, right? We have Bezos, and he went to space, right? And what I found extremely exciting is that he, in 3 sentences, doesn't take more than 3 sentences, changed the trajectory potentially for humanity for the next 100 or 500 years. So he said 3 things. 1, we shouldn't dirty this planet by manufacturing dirty things here. We should do it in space, right? This planet is too precious. Sentence number one. Sentence number two, we should have the base on the moon because it has all the materials. It has all the water we need ever. It has all the metals. It has every production material. And the cost is 1/30th because the gravity well is, I mean, it takes nothing versus shooting things with mega big rockets from Earth, right? So we do everything there. And by the way, I'm 57, he said, I can do it myself. I can put a foundation for it, but it takes thousands of young entrepreneurs like you and ideas and innovation to make this happen and make this wonderful journey that we're destined for, right? So 3 sentences, job security, right? No worries about job. I mean, we're conquering the universe is a pretty big task. It's like, yeah, it will take you a couple of hours to finish that, right? So, and do it in a purpose world and saving this planet at the same time. Wonderful vision. And when you hear from a trillionaire, he kind of did it, right? He started with books and CD-ROMs, and he's kind of, look around you. It's all Amazon. So what I'm saying is that, yes, vision is important. Yes, it is important to inspire people. And yes, another little story. My mom, she's 82. She had a stroke. She's fortunate enough to live 700 meters from me in a pretty decent place, right? I mean, you can't complain. So she has her own house and with her caregiver. And I come to her and say, Mom, how are you? I come with flowers. I'm a good son. How is life? I'm not happy. Okay. Mom, what can I do? I feel like the guy from, what's that movie with the mafia guy? I don't remember, but it was a series in the 90s with a guy that was a little bit fat and he was a mafia.
Sopranos.
The Sopranos, yeah. He had the same thing with his mom. I feel like that. I said, why are you not happy, Mom? Like, then, the food, she's been very active. She's made a lot of money. She had a very successful career. And I said, there's no purpose there. I wake up, I put my dress, I do all, but I need a purpose. Can you not give me a job at Eon? I do anything. So I actually got her a job at Eon. It's simple. It's not a lot, but she's happy. And she doesn't do it for the money. And I think that applies to most of us, right? No, there's no person in the US that starves. I mean, that was a problem 200 years ago. People were starving. In fact, obesity now is a sign that we probably don't have that much money. It's the opposite kind of. And most people have a place to stay. Maybe not a shack, but something. So I think the purpose part is the most important, right? To give someone pride of doing something. And doesn't matter what it is. Now, if you can do something that can make money with, is good. So this is part of our project, I think. An important part, what I want to do with you for the next few years together. Yeah. Okay. And so talking about that and talking about the situation, you are coming back in fall, correct?
Yeah, we'll be back in person.
Okay. And how many students do you have currently in?
When I first started 18 years ago teaching here, we had, I think we were at around 13,000 students. And since then, we're down to about 9,000, about 8,000, I think. One of the issues that we have, and this is where I can see this technology really helping also, is, we had the Paradise Fire, where it burnt the entire town, right? Which it's amazing to think that an entire town can be burned, right, with 30,000 people. Wow. But it was gone, right? For the most part, there was no town anymore. You can drive through and you can see where some people are still, they're rebuilding. And there's a Starbucks, right? There's still a Starbucks up there that I went to just the other day, and but
devastating.
When we lost 30,000 people that had to go someplace because they couldn't come to Chico because we didn't have any room for them, right? That we already had students using up most of the rentals. There were no houses for people to buy. People were jumping on buying houses and paying, $100,000 more than what they were worth at the time just to get into one. And of course now the housing market's even worse. But we lost probably close to 800 students, maybe 1,000 students because of that. And it's taken a long time for them to come back. Then we got hit with the pandemic. And I know students who are really excited, like this young woman I just talked about. She was so excited to get her vaccine and be vaccinated, knowing that she could come back to school and be around faculty that were vaccinated and other students hopefully that will be vaccinated as well. She's excited to come back, but there are a lot of students who are still hesitant about being around people, and I understand it, right? I mean, we're not out of this pandemic yet, and but I think that's harming our students coming back in person as well right now. So we're down students again, and hopefully before the end of August we'll get even more students coming back. As more get vaccinated, I think that's going to happen. Right now our college from the funding, from the federal funding and state funding, they're actually giving $1,000 to every student who takes 6 units or more. And that's beyond all the grants that they get, the book vouchers, that sort of thing. So every student, and I let everyone know, every student know, it's like, if you were thinking of taking one class, take 2, because it's worth it to get $1,000, right? At that point. And those are the incentives that they're having to do right now. But
I think that's great. I am from Sweden, and in Sweden is famous for many things. One of them is very high taxes, but I also had the benefit of going through that system, and I took my first master and I couldn't get a job. Then I had to take my second master. I couldn't get a job. Then I started my PhD, and halfway through my PhD, I actually got a job as a rocket engineer. But all this thing was free. In fact, they paid me to do it. Exactly. And I'm looking at my kids. One went through UCLA. One is right now in Montana, and Montana is not expensive, right? But if one is going back now to Stanford so I just look at my checkbook and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'll bet.
This is not happening now. So it's crazy, right? Because I think knowledge is a human right.
Right.
In my opinion, knowledge is a human right. I think healthcare is a human right.
Definitely, yeah.
Very much as freedom is a human right. So we should not forget that freedom without having access to knowledge. And I know that this is not the Republican Democrats. It's actually good, whatever party you are, because if your citizens are knowledgeable, informed, curious, you are a nation that continue to lead.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you are a nation where your citizens are misinformed, not knowledgeable, confused about where the future holds, or even worse, disillusioned about the future. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a team that will win. I don't care if it's baseball or economics. You're not going to win. So we need that. We need that. We need that. And I think actually community colleges is that net. It's not. I'm not worried about the Ivy Leagues. They're going to define. I mean, they have all their. I mean, I'm worried about the majority, because majority of the people that will drive this country forward. It's the majority of these people that made it exciting for me to emigrate, right?
Yep.
And it's the immigrants, by the way. I'm one of them. That need to get back. We need more Mexicans, right? Sorry, now I'm getting. I just turned off 40% of my viewers, right? I'll take it back and say the following: that I don't think that in the long perspective, and this is not a political statement, it's a fact, our population will decrease drastically. Apartments will be cheaper. Towns will be liberated from people, because we peak at around 9-10 billion, and then just look at it, it's going to drop. Look at how many kids we have, right?
Right.
So having immigrants, we'll beg for immigrants. Like we'll go and please come. Now wait with them with pom-poms, right?
Right.
Now someone says we don't need the ones for Guatemala and so on. I wouldn't say any of that, because to be an immigrant is tough.
Oh yeah.
To have a guy coming from Mexico leave everything he has in hope for a better life for his family, it's one of the toughest. These are not pussies. Those guys are not the weak guys. The weak guys will never leave because they're afraid. So that's the people we want. We want the crazy ones. We want we don't want the ones that actually want to build a better future. So that's what we want. And that's what America is, right? We all are fresh or semi-fresh. I don't know. What's your background? It sounds like you are from Ireland somewhere, right?
Yeah, Irish and Scot. Yeah.
Irish and Scot. Yeah. That's a good combo.
The Mexican worked in there, right?
So. Mexico, well, you get the Latino going. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's a good combo. That's where you are. You have all the creativity aspects. I bet you like a beer and you're frugal. I'm joking. all the things I shouldn't say.
Yeah, not frugal, that's for sure. My wife would like me to be frugal.
No, you're not frugal. Okay, that's the creative side again. No, I'm from Sweden, but anyway, it's lovely to talk with you. But it's been more interesting not only to talk but to do things. So we have to. I know we're working on a plan, and I think California can lead. Because California, you are the leader among the academic institution colleges right now, together with LACC was also one of the first, but you are the first one that goes for this program. And I think what we can do together is to set an example, a good example for what can be done. And if we can do it here, then we can do it almost anywhere, right? And exactly. So that's what I want to do. And I would like also to engage on this competition that started to get your students. So we need to come and visit or something to create this session where we show them how to do it and get them excited to create.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that, not only for our college, but if what we're attempting to do, and I think it's probably going to happen by bringing in a coalition of colleges, right, where we all collaborate together, that's going to be really powerful, because that's what we did with this Makerspace grant, the $17 million Makerspace grant, where 24 colleges got grants anywhere from 100,000 to 500 or up to 700,000 for building a Makerspace. The fact that we had those 24 colleges meeting, I think we met every 3 months. In different places. We would meet in San Francisco. We met in LA multiple times. We met here at Butte College. By the collaboration that we had to build these makerspaces was really incredible. And
so for the people that don't know, what is a makerspace? Just to benefit.
Yeah, so, they are still pretty new. So that is true. So the makerspace, really, it's what it sounds like. It's a space where our students, our community, can come into this room that's not. It's only maybe 30 by 40 feet with another outdoor space about the same size. And when you come into the space, you see an incredible amount of technology and equipment, because I made sure that in our makerspace we had equipment in there that a student could come in with any idea that they wanted or with no idea, and we would help them and they could manufacture it. So we have 3D printers, we have laser cutters, we have CNC routers for wood, we have water jet cutters for metal, we have a plasma cutter, we have we have 2 t-shirt printers so that you can actually start your own t-shirt business and do direct-to-garment t-shirt printing. We have an industrial embroidery machine. We have electronics for doing robotics in there. And we have a gaming area also, so students can come in and play with virtual reality, and they can come in and play with drones that we have. I got a grant for $50,000 to start a drone program here as well. So we have all these different types of drones. I should say that I just got in $30,000 worth of the smart glasses from Vuzix. I have them behind here.
I love those. Yeah,
they're incredible. I actually use them with Eon and was able to use them.
Yeah, definitely. We are supporting Vuzix. It's a great.
It was really cool.
About them, they are the underdog. I love underdogs, right? They are not, 21 billion with HoloLens, right? That we just got the $21 billion award for of course you can do wonders with that. Right. But what you can do when you don't have the money and create such a wonderful company, that's great. Yeah, they will win the way they approach it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really an amazing. The Vuzix blades are so much fun. And so that's what the makerspace is. You come in, you learn the equipment, and then once you're trained on it, you can come in anytime and just make things. You can make things to sell. So we have students making jewelry. We have them making guitar bodies. I have a student who came in and made 8 guitar bodies out of wood that he actually collected from the Paradise Fire. And so he started selling the guitar bodies. We have students that are coming in and doing 3D printing of one student made a lamp and 3D printed a lamp. And then we have large format printers, so you can make your own banners if you want to. So our clubs come in and they make their own buttons and their banners for their clubs. And then there's some new technology that hopefully we'll be getting this coming year, because there's so much money being pumped into education right now. It's going to be amazing. So it's really an incredible thing to have this makerspace.
Yeah. Now, what we'll do when we were talking about this, what went in my back of my mind, the first thing is that let's scan it.
Exactly.
We should do that, actually. Let's talk with Rick and let's scan it. Who'll help you through the process. And then we'll help you with the first one with all the annotations. We'll scan it. Then we have all the annotation. We embed all the knowledge portals with it. And then we can start in August when we do the formal release of Spatial. We can we do a use case for Spatial, and you'll be the first college that is doing that with a makerspace. And you'll have guests from, what's that? Oh.
So these are the Vuzix blades here that I was using with the Eon reality, augmented reality. And so the fact that these are amazing. I bought my own pair before we ordered these for the college, and I use them for Zoom for my students, so that when I was in the makerspace, I was able to wear these, show the students what I was doing, and have hands-on. And so I can see integrating smart glasses with what you're doing, instead of having to hold my mobile phone up at some point, just being able to wear these and do the exact same thing. Talk about exciting. That's going to be
absolutely. And for the audience, just tell us, how much are those?
So these ones right here are $700. And we ordered 30 of these so that we can train our faculty and our students on how to use them. One of the most excited faculty that we have, he's in the sciences, and I actually loaned him the more advanced ones. So we actually have two others. So we have 30 of these right here, but we also have 2 of the Vuzix 400s right here that can mount to glasses. They can mount to a hat if you want to. And then, so these ones right here are I think they're about $1,900. So we got 2 of these. And then these are the $2,500 ones right here that we got 2 of these that you mount to your glasses also. And they're incredible. They're using them for surgery right now. We just bought one of these for our health department, so they can start using it as well. So the technology is just crazy, right? I mean, it's
crazy. And I need to ask you an important question here. So it's 2031. Okay, it's 2031. We somehow survived the bus, didn't hit us. We're still around. A little bit more gray. Who knows? A little life prolongation.
Shots. Get more gray, I guess, right?
I maybe have some hair left. And what's gonna be the future? So I'm coming to your college. I visit, and you invite me, and then I do a sightseeing view. So what am I going to see? What's around there then?
Wow, 2031, huh? So, I think one of the things that you'll be seeing in there, and I believe this is possible, and it's going to be happening, is that every student is going to be wearing something lighter, right, and more unintrusive than these right here, and they will know exactly who you are as you're walking through, and you'll be able to see what they give you. Right, information that they give you. You'll be able to be walking by me, and you'll see that I'm an instructor in the design department. And if you click on a floating toolbar, you'll be able to see my bio if you want to, or find out more about me. I can really see that is going to be part of our future. Is that the information that we want to allow people to have is going to be there. There will always be data mining, right? We're not going to get rid of that for sure. And so there will be people who won't be wanting to wear any of these. But I think it's going to be so immersed in our culture that this technology, the advancements that we're going to be having, it's going to be a part of us for sure. Will you walk through a computer lab? I don't think so. I don't think we'll have computer labs at that point. I don't think we'll need them any longer. They'll be designing while they're wearing the glasses, and they won't have to have a $2,000 or $3,000 computer in front of them any longer. They won't need that monitor that costs us $3,000 in there. Our labs, we just replaced 2 of our labs just before the pandemic started. So they've only been used for half of a semester before we had to stop. But those labs cost us over $100,000 to build and replace every 6 years. And the technology is going to advance to the point where we won't have to do that anymore. Now, there's still going to be technology, and there's always going to be obsolescence built into that technology because there's money involved, right? But just the fact that I can take this phone and do what I'm doing right now, these are going to be. I can't even imagine how advanced this is going to be at that point. You won't be having to hold it probably any longer, right? For sure. So
it's got to be in the cloud, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really share that. I talked with the vice chancellor of universities that has 18 universities in West Indies, so exotic places. She said, my lessons will be starting with yoga at the beach and we'll never leave the beach.
There you go.
So I'll hold on my lesson in a swimsuit and that's it. Mm-hmm. And I see that. Remember that movie Avatar?
Right.
So when I see that technology will be organic, non-intrusive, if I take 20 years, I hope with crazy guy like Jeff Bezos, where all the dirty things are done in the space, and this is a green, lush place where we don't have wildfires because we have moderated our environment, where technology is non-intrusive, where elderly people that maybe suffer Alzheimer or dementia are kind of in a fuzzy ball that AI kind of cuddles them, what they know, what they like, they play the songs they need. The youngster can focus on the innovation. So the makerspace is so amazing that you actually can make things almost instantly from your ideas, right?
Right.
Where creativity flourishes. So that's the vision I have, right? Yeah. And imagine how contrast that vision is versus the dark scenario that many youngsters sometimes think the world is going to. But the only way we can do that, and the only way we have advanced from the last 70,000 years when we came from the caves in Africa, is through technology, right? Technology has made the world a safer place, has made a world we don't starve, and we have somewhere to live, and most people have some healthcare and so on. So that's what we need to do. And I think education plays the key role, because without this education and without this, the technology will not advance.
Right. So creativity, right? I think, along with the technology, we have to embrace creativity in every area, every discipline. The first thing I tell my students in my design classes is that look around and look at the chair you're sitting in, look at the computer you're working on, look at the building you're in. It's all been designed by someone. And so I tell them that designers rule the world, right? Because if they wouldn't be wearing clothing right now if there wasn't a designer. And so the technology, along with the creativity and the design, we have to make sure that, and it's happening, it's happening slowly, but it is happening. I think that people are understanding how important creativity is, that it's not just for, when
gaming or, yeah. It is for real thing. Listen, I so much enjoyed this. It was a fantastic hour, and it passed like in a jiffy. Unfortunately, we have to end. I promise you 60 minutes. I know you're a busy man, but this dialogue is just paused and will continue very soon. And I'd love to have you on in a year from now to see the progress we made together.
Definitely. Yeah, this has been great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
Good. Bye. Thanks.